Ever find yourself kind of hitting that point where you think, do I really have to just pick one thing to be passionate about?
Yeah.
Well, today's deep dive, it's going to throw that whole idea right out the window.
Right out the window, yeah.
We're checking out the website of Michael Eskin.
Okay.
And this is someone who's not only crushing it in software development, but also in the world of traditional Irish music.
Yeah. A fascinating combination.
Talk about a fascinating combination. Right?
It really speaks to what we're seeing more and more of these days, that whole portfolio career idea.
Right.
And it's becoming super popular. It's more than just, having a resume with a bunch of different jobs.
Right.
It's about showcasing all those different skills and passions you have, all those interests. And Michael's website, I gotta say, it does that incredibly well.
It really does. It's like his website is kind of like a hub.
Yeah.
For all things Michael, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
And just going through his bio page, I was like, whoa, okay, so this isn't some newbie to the software scene. We're talking over 40 years of experience in software.
That's incredible. That means he's seen it all.
He's seen it all, right? Like he's seen trends come and go.
Exactly, yeah.
And what really stood out to me was when I was looking at his work, he's got strategic Kubernetes, Azure DevOps, and OpenAI related projects. So he's not just been around forever, but he's obviously diving into all this new stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, those are some of the hottest areas in software development right now.
So for those of us who I don't code, what do those even mean?
Okay, so imagine trying to wrangle a whole symphony of software applications, each one doing its own thing, right? That's kind of what Kubernetes does. It orchestrates all of that.
Okay.
Azure DevOps, that's more like your backstage crew, making sure everything runs smoothly from development to deployment.
So they're like the stage managers.
Exactly. And then OpenAI. Well, that's the headliner, the one everyone's talking about, pushing the boundaries of AI,
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
It's pretty amazing stuff.
So, okay, not only is this guy, been around the block, but he's also clearly not afraid to jump into the newest, latest, greatest stuff. But then I found this, and this is kind of a curveball, right?
Okay.
In the middle of all this, crazy complex stuff, he also made Zoom buttons.
Zoom buttons.
Which is a tool, and this is what I love, a tool to make Zoom chats easier.
I love that. It's so interesting to me how he does that. He sees a need, a real practical need, and he just uses his skills to fix it.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's like this perfect example of how adaptable he is,
Yeah.
The pandemic, it kind of threw us all into the virtual world, right?
It did.
And here's Michael, this veteran developer, recognizing how clunky some of it could be and saying, hold on, I can make this better.
Right, exactly.
So smart.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to smooth out this whole experience for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. It's brilliant.
And it's so cool how that idea of making tech more accessible kind of pops up in his other passion, too.
Oh, absolutely. You're talking about the music.
Yeah, the music. Traditional Irish music, no less.
Right. And it's fascinating how he brings these two worlds together so seamlessly,
Yeah. It's not enough to just be amazing at both of these things, but to actually, make them connect.
Exactly.
It's really something. So his website mentions he plays, a ton of instruments.
Oh, yeah.
Julian pipes, flutes, concertinas, accordions.
Wow. He's got quite the repertoire.
And that's probably not even, everything.
I bet. With a background like that, he's got to be involved in the Irish music scene, right?
That's a big time, yeah. And it's not just playing. He's co-hosting these traditional Irish music sessions.
Such sessions.
Yeah.
Okay, now for those of us who aren't, fluent in Irish music lingo,
right.
What exactly goes down at a session?
Okay, so picture this, right? You're in this cozy pub.
I'm there.
Musicians are everywhere, but they're not, up on a stage. They're kind of scattered around, hanging out, and they're just sharing tunes. They're telling stories. Everyone's into the music.
That sounds amazing. It's like everyone's in on it together.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're, a pro or just starting out, everyone's welcome.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. It's like this very open, welcoming vibe.
Exactly. And, it just takes us back to what we were saying about Michael and technology.
Well, yeah, I see it.
It's like he doesn't just want to be good at it himself. He wants to create that space.
Exactly. To share it, to make it approachable.
To bring other people in, and that's what he's doing with the music, too, which is so cool.
Oh, okay. That's amazing. And it totally makes sense, because then I saw on his website where he's created those accordions.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that, because those are fascinating.
Okay, so they're these apps, right, that basically let you experience what it's like to play traditional Irish instruments.
It's like he combined both of his passions into one.
Yeah.
Right.
It's brilliant.
He used his coding skills to open up this whole musical world.
Exactly. And think about it. People who maybe don't have access to those traditional instruments.
Right, or even teachers.
Exactly. They can now experience this whole rich musical tradition.
It's incredible.
It really is. It really is. And it's things like this that just, you get a sense of his character, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But honestly, I think what really gives you a sense of who Michael is are those testimonials.
Oh, yeah, those are great.
They're scattered all over his website.
Right. And they're not even, like, he didn't ask for those. It's just people chiming in.
Exactly. I mean, anyone can list their accomplishments, right?
Sure. But when you have other people raving about you, it's different. It's totally different. It just makes the whole experience of looking at his website so much more, I don't know, human.
More personal. Yeah.
Yeah, you really get a sense of the person behind all these incredible talents.
And yeah, like, it's like you said, right? You can be this total tech genius, but still be like a really good teacher.
Totally, totally. It's not one or the other.
Right. And speaking of teaching, did you see those tip jars he's got on the site?
Oh, yeah. Those are interesting. I mean, it's such a small thing.
Right.
But it really says a lot about him. You know, he puts those links to PayPal and Venmo out there, but it's not like, pay me.
No, not at all.
It's more like, hey, if this helped you out, feel free to buy me a coffee. Right, exactly. Yeah. It's very much in that spirit of sharing and community that we keep talking about.
Definitely.
And it shows that it's not about, like, making a ton of money. It's about, you know, just a love for this stuff, whether it's code or music or whatever.
Exactly. And I think that's something that's so inspiring about Michael's story, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It really challenges that whole idea of you have to pick one path and stick to it.
Right, like life isn't linear.
Exactly. It's about embracing all those parts of ourselves, those passions, and like weaving them together into something really unique and fulfilling.
For sure. For sure. So, I mean, I think we've learned a lot from just diving into Michael Eskin's world, right?
Absolutely. He's this incredible software developer working on like cutting edge stuff, but he's also a crazy talented musician who's keeping these traditions alive.
Yeah, and he's so passionate about it all.
Exactly. And not just passionate, but willing to share it, to teach it, to make it accessible.
Exactly. And it makes you think, right? Like, what connections are we missing out on in our own lives?
Right.
If we don't, you know, let ourselves explore those intersections of all the things that light us up.
It's a good question to ask ourselves, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired right now.
Me too, me too. Michael Eskin, everyone check him out.
Definitely, definitely. All right, well, that's it for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. This was great.